Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi yassir wa la tu'assir wa tammim bil khair. Ad-darsu as-sabi ashara, lesson number 17. And as we know that in this lesson, we are discussing about the derived form number 4. So basically it's derived form number 3, but overall it's number 4. So we have the original form, and then we discussed about taf'il, and this one is about if'al. Let's begin. Al-mudarrisu, kayfa asbahtum ya ikhwanu. Alright, so we discussed in the previous lesson that asbaha, yusbihu, isbahan, basically is the sister of kana. And it has two meaning. One meaning is like to enter the morning, and the other meaning is to become. So now from the context we can see over here that the teacher says kayfa asbahtum ya ikhwanu. So it would be, how are you doing this morning, O brothers? So the literal meaning will be, how did you enter this morning, O brothers? So it will be kayfa asbahtum ya ikhwanu, how are you doing, O brothers? And we know it's sister of kana, so there is always ismu kana and khabaru kana. Now we can see that this is asbahtum, so asbah is the past tense and tum is the ismu asbaha. And now we have to look for the khabaru asbaha. So when we continue over here, at-talabatu, the students, we know that this is the plural of talibun. It has two plurals, tullabun wa talabatun. So here we have at-talabatu asbahna bi khairin. So this is basically khabaru asbaha. So this is ismu asbaha tum, and this is khabaru asbaha. Asbahna bi khairin. We are doing fine this morning. So when you start the conjugation of this one, you will see asbaha, asbaha, asbahu, and you continue up to the last form, which is asbahna bi khairin. Walhamdulillah, and praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wa kayfa asbahta anta ya ustadhu. Now here we have a beautiful expression again. Wa kayfa asbahta, and how are you? And again we have asbahta, and we know that asbahta means anta because this ta means anta. And then we have another anta. So why is it used over here? This is used for emphasis. As we know that this is called at-tawkidu al-lafadhiyu, emphasis with repetition of the word. So asbahta, anta is already here, and then we have another anta. So when we have anta and anta again, so this is the repetition of the word. So this is called at-tawkid al-lafdhiyu, and we discussed it in the very first lesson of this book. There is at-tawkid al-ma'nawi, as we have seen that we use the word like kullun and ba'd, and similarly there are some other words like ajma'a, they are used, and we have at-tawkid al-lafdhiyu, which is called the emphasis of repetition. So wa kayfa asbahta anta ya ustadhu, and how are you doing this morning, O teacher? Bi khairin. Alright, so bi khairin, if you remember, I told you that Arabic language is also called lughatul mahdhuf. Yani sometimes mubtada is dropped, sometimes khabar is dropped. So here, can you figure out like what is there that has been dropped, or what is mahdhuf over here? Mubtada. Ana bi khairin. So basically it is ana bi khairin, but ana is mahdhuf because there is no need to say that, because it is mafhum, it is already understood. So that's why the teacher says bi khairin, I am fine. Ahmaduhu wa ashkuruhu. Alright, so here we can see here that we have ahmadu. Okay, is this verb from number 4 that we are discussing, or is it the present tense? We know that verb from number 4, for example, aslama or asbaha, it starts with hamza. So how would we differentiate if this is verb from number 4, or is this the present tense?
Is this present tense, Ustad?
Present tense, because we have dhamma over here. Excellent. Hamida yahmadu. Yahmadu, tahmadu, tahmadu, ahmadu, nahmadu. So ahmadu, so this is hamza basically, which is used for the mutakallim al-wahid, the first person. So ahmadu, and the same over here, wa ashkuruhu. So I thank him and I praise him. Yani I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Atfi. So here it is form number 4. Atfa'a yutfi'u itfa'an. To put off or to switch off. So what kind of verb is this? Is this like past tense or fi'l al-amr or any other type of the verb? Can you figure out? Atfi. The ending is sakin. Fi'l al-amr. Excellent. Perfect. This is fi'l al-amr. Atfa'a yutfi'u itfa'an. Atfi is basically means to switch off. And when we see al-anwara, the lights, so we can see over here that this is maf'ul bihi, so it is basically anta. And we know that this is sakin, but when we connect sakin with al, then we connect it with kasra. So it will be atfi'il anwara ya Idrisu, switch off the lights, O Idris. Fala hajata ilayha al-ana, as there is no need for this now. Fala hajata. Hajata, yes. Can you please tell me about this? Do you have any idea? Do you remember this? Like what kind of expression is this? And what kind of la is this? Okay, la ilaha illallah. La rayba fih. Do you remember now?
Nasabullah.
La an-nafiyatu lil jinsi. This is basically a law of absolute negation. So how do we know this? That after la, the noun is common noun, that's number 1. And number 2, it is always mansub bil fatha. So whenever you see la, and after la you see there is fatha on the noun and the noun is common noun, that means that this is law of absolute negation. For example, la ilaha illallah, ilaha. Similarly, la rayba fihi. Allahumma la mani'a lima a'tayta wa la mu'tiya lima mana'ta. So you can see over here that after this la, there is a common noun and it is always mansub. So please, you need to remember now. La an-nafiyata lil jinsi. Fala hajata ilayha al-ana. There is no need to switch them on right now. So fala hajata, yani there is absolutely no need. There is absolutely no need, or there is no need at all. Ilayha, for them, al-ana, now. A'tini. What about this one? A'tini. Is it ismul fa'il, ismul maf'ul, or is it fi'l al-amr, or is it the past tense?
Fi'l al-amr.
Excellent. A'ti, give, and ya al-mutakallim, and we know that when we have ya al-mutakallim, then a small noon is inserted, which is called noon al-qutni. So this noon is inserted, so it becomes a'tini, give me, and waraqata, a paper, lil ghayabi, for the absences, ya yaqubu, o yaqub. So give me the register or the paper for absences, or to register the absences, o yaqub. Ghiyab, what kind of noun is this? Ghaba yaghibu ghiyaban. This is masdar. You need to remember this. In the previous lesson we discussed it, that this is masdar on the pattern of fi'alun, ghiyab, okay? And because why it is majroor? Because waraqata is basically mudaf and al-ghiyabi is mudaf ilayh. Yaqubu, ha hiya the, here it is. So if you are referring to something feminine, you will say ha hiya the. And what does it refer to? It refers to the waraqa, the paper. Here it is. So ha huwa the, we say here he is, or here it is for the masculine, and ha hiya the, it is used for the feminine. Here it is. Aina Fatimatu, and you say ha hiya the, here she is. Aina Bilalun, ha huwa the, here he is. So it depends on the person. So if it's feminine, we say hiya the, and if it is masculine, we say huwa the. Lam yahdur, he did not attend. Who did not attend? Lam yahdur Uthmanu. Uthman did not attend al-yawma, today. Uthman did not attend, or Uthman did not come today. فَإِنَّهُ مُصَابٌ بِإِسْهَالٍ شَدِيدٍ. as he is afflicted by severe diarrhea. Fa, as we know that this is used to connect the two ideas or two sentences. And we have here innahu, as we know that inna has ismu inna, so who will be ismu inna, and it is mahallan mansub, it is basically mansub in the place of nasb. Musabun, so we have here asaba yusibu isabatan, to afflict someone with something. Okay, so let's do the conjugation. Asaba yusibu isabatan, fahuwa musibun, fahuwa musibun. What is the feminine of musibun? Musibatun.
مصيبة
Musibatun. Excellent. So now we know that when someone is struck by the calamity, we use the word for the calamity, we use the word musibah. So why it is used musibah? Because it comes from afflicting someone. So this is basically the feminine of musibun. So asaba yusibu isabatan fahuwa musibun fadhaka musabun. So this is not ismul fa'il, this is ismul maf'ul. Because we have a weak letter, that's why the changes will take place, and we will discuss inshallah in the exercises. But we see that it starts with dhamma, and then we have fatha. So when we have fatha, then basically what happens? This is ismul maf'ul. Isthalin. What about isthalin? Is this, what kind of noun is this?
يفعل
If'alun. So this is basically masdar of verb form number 4. Ashala yusilu ishalan. But bi-ishalin, and here this hamza is hamzatul qati', yani we have to read this hamza. We don't say bishalin, la, we have to say bi-ishalin shadidin. Bi-ishalin shadidin. He is suffering from severe diarrhea. Shafahu Allahu. Shafa yashfi shifa'un. We know that the past tense is used to make dua. Do you remember that? Radiyallahu anhu. And similarly, we have shafahu Allahu. So when we want to make dua, then we use the past tense. So we say shafa. So this was basically, there was alif maqsura. And we know the rule we have discussed in book number 2, that whenever alif maqsura is connected with the attached pronouns, then it changes into regular alif. So when we have hu or ha or ka or ki after that, then what happens? It changes into regular alif. So it changed into regular alif. So it became shafahu Allahu. So shafa is the past tense, hu is the object, and ismul jalala is the subject. May Allah cure him. Ba'da, after, tasjili, registering, asma'il ghaibina, the names of the absentees. Okay, we know that ba'da is used as special mudaf. Tasjil, yes, tasjil is what? This is the masdar of sajjala yusajjilu tasjilan. After registering, so ba'da, after ba'da, the noun is majroor because ba'da is used as mudaf, and tasjil is also mudaf, and asma is also mudaf, and al-ghaibina is mudaf ilayh. After recording or registering the names of the students who are absent or absentees, a'tiha al-muraqiba, give it to the controller. We know that a'ta yu'ti i'ta'an requires maf'ulain. So al-maf'ul al-awwal is ha, and al-muraqibu is al-maf'ul al-thani. Ha refers to what? a'tiha al-muraqiba. Ha refers to the page, waraqatul ghiyab, waraqah. Okay, so it refers to that page that the teacher is talking about. So a'tiha al-muraqiba, give it to the controller. فَإِنَّهُ, indeed, yuriduha. So yuriduha, what kind of verb is this? Please quickly. Form number 4.
أراد
Arada yuridu iradatan. The same that we are discussing now. Arada yuridu iradatan. He wants it. Yuriduha al-ana. He wants it now. Li amrin ma, for some reason. Okay, what kind of ma is this? We discussed in the handouts in the previous lesson that if we have a common noun, and after the common noun when we have a ma, so this is basically adjective for the noun that comes before this. So amrin is a common noun. So this is mawsuf and this ma is sifa, and this is called ma al-mubhama. Al-mubhama yani ma of ambiguity, or the ma which is not clear. So when we talk about someone or something, when we say someone did it, or when we say something happened, so do we know who did it? Of course not. So that's why he says يريدها الآن لأمر ما. He wants it for some reason, so he doesn't know the reason. So this is ma al-mubhama, ma of ambiguity. All right. إن يكن مكتبه مغلقا فستجده في مكتب المشرف أو مشرف على النشاط الثقافي. All right. In. Please tell me about in. Why do we use it? For shart. This is adatu shart, right? And whenever we use in تجزم فعلين, yeah? So it will basically give jazm to two verbs, okay? So this one was basically yakunu, but because of in, it has become yakun. In yakun, so we know that this is kana yakunu, so here we have maktubuhu ismu kana. Ismu kana is always marfu, and then we have khabaru kana, which is always mansub, khabaru kana. Mughlaqan, mughlaq. Is this ismul fa'il or ismul maf'ul?
المفعول.
Okay, the same form, aghlaqa yughliqu ighlaqan, to close something. So if his office is closed, mughlaqan, fasatajiduhu fi maktabil mushrifi. So you will find it in the office of the mushrif or the supervisor or the director, ala nishati al-thaqafi, the director of cultural activities. Nashat is activities and al-thaqafi, cultural, the director of cultural activities. Okay, why do we have fa over here? Quickly. Because in requires, yes, in requires,
That's a biya. So
yes, it gives jazm to two verbs. So the first one is majzoom here, and the second one is mahallan majzoom. Why? Because we have seen over here. So the fa has been connected because of seen. You know, whenever we have jawab shart, whenever jawab shart has seen with that, then fa will be connected to that. فَسَوْفَ فَسَوْفَ فَسَتَجِدُهُ. And whenever we have fa connected to seen, then jawab shart will not be majzoom. This fa will like save the verb to be majzoom. So it is basically mahallan majzoom. So these are the things that we discussed in the previous lesson. So because we have fa because of seen, and the verb here it is majzoom, but this is mahallan majzoom. Why? Because of fa is connected to this. So if you find his office to be closed, then you will find him in the office of the director of cultural activities. يخرج يعقوب, Yaqub leaves. وبعد هنيهة, and after a while, this is an expression, and after a while, يفتح الباب شاب, a young man opens the door. شاب, what kind of noun is this? Basic stuff you should remember now. Ismul fa'il.
اسم الفاعل.
Ismul fa'il of what? Shabba yashubbu fahuwa shabbun. Like hajja yahujju fahuwa hajjun. Radda yaruddu fahuwa raddun. Okay? So yaftahu shabbun al-baba. Okay, now here maf'ul bihi has come before fa'il, and this is again for the purpose of emphasis. Yani a young man opens the door. وَيَقِفُ لَدَيْهِ, and he stands by it. Lada, we know that lada is basically, it ends with alif maqsura, but when we have the attached pronoun, then it changes into ya. So regular ya. So it means inda. وَيَقِفُ لَدَيْهِ, and he stands close to it. Yani close to the door. He stands near the door or close to the door. بعد التحية, حيا يحيي تحية, right? To greet. So بعد التحية, after greeting. And what does that mean? Basically ashabu. Okay, ashabu. Why ashabu has al over here now? Because here shabun is mentioned for the first time. So if a noun is mentioned for the first time, if it's a common noun, when we mention it again, then it becomes a proper noun. We can see over here the same rule in Arabic or the same rule in English. I have a pen, the pen is blue. So shabun is a common noun. When we discuss or when we talk about it for the second time, then it becomes a proper noun. So بعد التحية, after greeting, and greeting means after saying assalamu alaikum. أتسمح لي بالدخول يا فضيلة الشيخ. will you allow me to get in, O Fadilat al-Shaykh? Al-Mudarrisu, the teacher, Bada Radd al-Tahiyyati. After Radd, we know that this is the Masdar of Radda Yaruddu, after replying. Radda Yaruddu, Raddan. So Bada Radd al-Tahiyyati, after replying to the greetings, Ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. I welcome you. So do you remember that why Ahlan is mansub and why Sahlan is mansub and why Marhaban is mansub? Do you remember that? Again, something is mahdhuf. Atayta ahlan, yes, wa ta'ta sahlan, wa urahhibuka marhaban. So basically, we discussed about this in book number 2. So basically, ahlan wa sahlan wa marhaban. So whenever you see that a noun is mansub and something is mahdhuf over there, so this is basically in the place of maf'ul bihi, and we know that maf'ul bihi is always mansub. Okay, udkhul, get in. So udkhul, dakhala yadkhulu. So udkhul. Wa aghliq al-baba, wa aghliq al-baba, and close the door. So what is the difference between udkhul and aghliq? Yes, please tell me quickly. This is the original form, form number 1, and this is verb form number 4. When we talk about verb form number 1, dakhala yadkhulu, we have to add extra hamza. This extra hamza can have dhamma or it can have kasra, depending on how it is used. But here, verb form number 4, aghliq, it is always maftuh. It always comes with fatha. Wa aghliq al-baba, and open, and close the door. Udkhul wa aghliq al-baba, get in and close the door. Yabdu, it seems, annaka, that you are talibun jadidun, a new student. So this is a very simple sentence. Yabdu, it seems, and we know that anna. Why not innaka? Because after the verb, we use anna and not inna. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. And this is ismu anna, ka is ismu anna, and talibun jadidun is khabaru anna. It seems that you are a new student. Masmuka, what is your name? Ma al-istifhamiya, used to ask a question. Masmuka, what is your name? Why are we not reading this hamza? Please tell me quickly. Because this is hamzatul wasl. The hamza of ismun and the hamza of ibnun is hamzatul wasl. So when we connect it, we don't read it. Masmuka, what is your name? Wa min ayna anta, and where are you from? Ash-shabu, the young man. Ismi Muhammad ibn William wa ana min Canada. My name is Muhammad bin William and I am from Canada. We have discussed that the kalima ibnun, when it comes between alamain, when it comes between two proper nouns, number 1 Muhammad and number 2 William. So when it comes between two proper nouns, so we need to know two things. Number 1, the alif will be dropped. So alif of ibnun has been dropped. That's number 1. Number 2, for the first noun, it is sifa. So Muhammadun is mawsuf and ibnu is sifa. So if we have Muhammadi, it will be ibni. If it is Muhammada, it will be ibna. And if it is Muhammadu, it will be ibnu. Muhammad ibnu, and for the second noun, it is used as mudaf. So we know that this is Williami basically because it is non-Arabic name. That's why it is mamnu min as-sarf. So that's why it has fatha. So that's why it is Ismi Muhammad ibn William. My name is Muhammad ibn William. Wa ana min Canada, and I am from Canada. And we have discussed this construction in book number 2 in detail and also in book number 3 in detail. So I'm sure, inshallah, now you know it very well. Ahadithu ahadin bil Islami anta. Are you a new Muslim or are you a converted Muslim? And we have discussed in the previous lesson that this is used as an expression for someone who is a new Muslim. Islam. Aslama yuslimu islaman. Muhammadun, na'am. Yes. So whenever we have hamzatul istifham, the answer has to be yes or no. So he says yes. Alhamdulillah alladhi hadana lil islami. Thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who guided us to Islam. So we know again over here this is hada yahdi, so it ends with alif maqsura. And whenever we have the attached pronoun, then it changes into regular alif. So it has become hadana lil islami. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. Alladhi, the one who. And alladhi, after alladhi, we have either we have a verbal sentence or a nominal sentence. Here we have a verbal sentence. Hadana, who guided us, lil islami, to Islam. Mata aslamta ya akhi al karima. When did you accept Islam, or when did you embrace Islam, O brother? Okay, al karima, why it has fatha? Okay, now see over here. After ya, we use a noun. If we have mudaf ilayh after that, after ya, if we have mudaf ilayh, then mudaf is mansub. For example, we say ya rabbal alamin, ya rabbal alamin. Okay, so we can see over here that this is mudaf ilayh. So ya akha, and then we have ya al mutakallim. So we know that when we use ya al mutakallim, then the noun changes accordingly. It changes accordingly. So from akha, it has changed akhi. So what is the i'rab of akha? It is mansub. Why it is mansub? Because it is mudaf and ya al mutakallim is mudaf ilayh. So akhi is mansub and this is mawsuf, and after that we have to use sifa. So the sifa that we have to use, we know that the sifa is equal in number, gender, capacity, and number, gender, capacity, and status. So it is equal in 4 things. So akhi, is it a common noun or proper noun? Akha is a common noun, but when we add ya al mutakallim to this, it becomes a proper noun. So now it has become a proper noun. So that's why the sifa that we have to use after that, the sifa has to be a proper noun. That's number 1. What is the i'rab of akha? It is mansub. So why al karima is mansub? Because this is the sifa of akhi. So that's why it is mansub. And the example from the Quran, narullahi al-muqadah. Narullahi al-muqadah. What will be the ending of muqadah?
Muqaddati, Jesus.
No, narullahi. We are talking about the sifa of nar. Please remember that. Narullahi. The sifa of nar. Al-muqadah, the kindled fire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So narullahi, this is the sifa of nar. Because nar is feminine. So the sifa of nar. What is the i'rab of nar? Dhamma. So what should be the ending of muqadah? To. Please, this we discussed in book number 2. So you should remember now that we are talking about here narullahi, because this is mudaf ilayh. So whenever we have the use of sifa in mudaf ilayh, we need to be careful that here nar is a common noun, but because it is mudaf ila al-ma'rifa, so that's why it has become a proper noun because of ismul jalala. So narullahi al-muqadatu, the kindled fire of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the same expression has been used over here. Alright, so let's stop over here, and inshallah when we meet again in the next lesson we will continue. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.